Welcome, Black Hollywood Live fans. On today's Fit Club, we talk the Fountain of Youth, the Calf Conundrum, and more with three-time Mr. Universe and star of Maximum Impact, Alexander Nevsky. Stay tuned for more.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, Fit Club.
Welcome, Fit Clubbers. We are back. We have a special guest. I'm joined by Mr. Alexander Nevsky. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes,
Thank you.
So glad to have you. We're going to have a special episode today.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Again, my name is Shaka Smith. I'm joined by my lovely host, Ms. T.K. Trinidad.
Hey guys, TK Trinidad.
And where can they find you, Mr. Nevsky, online?
In Instagram, it's @realalexnevsky.
Nice. Man, I was going to say, you sound like the real deal. You sound like a real Russian action star, and you are a real Russian action star.
We have a Black Hollywood and we have Russian Hollywood live right now.
Yes. This is not an accent. He's the real deal. And you got this great movie that just came out, Maximum Impact. And we also have your bodybuilding book that's going to be released in America soon.
And as I said to you, I mean, it's the first time I think your audience see Russian fitness book, because that's a Russian version. It was a bestseller in Russia last year. It will be published in the States next year.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. So we got a lot to talk about. Our first story up, though, is about the Fountain of Youth and whether or not fasting might actually be that part of that Fountain of Youth cure. So basically, they found that fasting reduced the risk of obesity, as well as diabetes and cancer and fatty liver disease. And they looked at one study, looked at 100 people. They ate 3 meals a day, between 8 to 1,100 calories, and they fasted for 5 days of the month. And then the other group did the exact same thing but didn't fast. So it was only 5 days a month they fasted. And they found that they got all those same benefits from fasting. Lower diabetes risk, lower cancer risk. They found that the cholesterol, triglycerides went down in the blood. So really great stuff. And another fasting diet, the 5-2 diet, where you basically eat whatever you want for 5 days. And for two of those days, you have just 500 calories, also showed similar results. I was wondering, have you experimented with intermittent fasting at all? Have you experimented with different diets, and what have you found?
To be honest with you, no, I didn't. But I'm from Russia, from ex-Soviet Union, from Europe, and why I like it all, because over there we didn't really think much about any diets. We just tried to eat right, to train right. So to all the audience, I think there's so many like new principles, new diets, new stuff around, and it's great.
Yeah.
It just please remember, even if you don't believe at any diets, still try to eat healthy. Try to train, exercise at least like 3 times a week. You know, just try to do that.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of intuitively know what we're supposed to do, but we always act there's some magic pill that we're not taking that we don't know about.
And I think too in America or in North America, the portions are way bigger than overseas.
Yeah.
Like what they serve overseas, you're fine with that. Here, it's like you can literally have 2 meals, but people have it in 1 meal.
Yeah. Which is great when you, 6'6" and want to get bigger. It's just great to be in America. Don't get me wrong.
It's like 1950s portions, because we've just progressively gone up and up and up.
Yeah.
So now they're saying we got to start fasting.
But I think Terry Crews, he's been doing the intermittent fasting where he starts. He doesn't eat until noon.
Okay.
And then he doesn't eat until noon. I think he eats between noon and 6 or something. Like there's like a window. And then he doesn't. So I know a lot of people who do that.
And that's time. Yeah, they call it time-restricted fasting, and they've actually shown that there's been positive results with time-restricted fasting
versus
as well.
like the day. 500 calories for a day if you work out or if you're active.
Yeah.
A McDonald's or whatever passing on the road, like you might cave in.
Yeah,
it seems like tougher.
I actually do intermittent fasting. So basically, most days I really don't eat between like 3 o'clock, except for Wednesdays when I know I'm going to be doing the show and I just need that extra energy. So I think you can kind of do it on an activity basis.
Before or after 3 o'clock?
I don't eat till after 3 p.m.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Let me tell you both that when we shot Maximum Impact, it was so hard to do any fasting because we had like 24 hours shooting days.
Craft
right?
services.
So even if you want to try something like that, I think you couldn't. And you just grab here or grab there. Yeah, but
so what is your diet when you're filming? Are you kind of allowed to have a little bit more of whatever you want?
With me, it's easy because I mostly produced the films, So of course I'm trying to basically figure out. So me, I have like a biggest trailer, and I have my chicken breasts, and I have some, salad and steak, whatever. But still, because I'm also in the movie,
right?
Yeah.
So I want to, but it doesn't matter if I have to be on set. I have some sandwich or whatever. But when I'm on set, mostly I'm trying to eat well, and basically that's why I still look like Russian Hollywood, you know.
I love it. And actually, out of Europe, we got some new guidelines regarding mental health. And I love this one because they're now saying the European Psychiatric Association is saying that exercise is essential to mental health and that a structured regimen has to be part of medication and psychotherapy. So now it's not just medication and psychotherapy, it's got to be also physical exercise. They're finding that people that suffer from mental health are in poor shape in their 40s and 50s and going forward because it's something they're not paid attention to, and no one's telling them to pay attention to it. And so I just love this idea that we're now making physical health part of mental health. Have you had any experience with like kind of joining the two, or do you find that mentally you're stronger or better when you're physically active?
First of all, of course you like that idea, but I'm sure all the, how to say right in English, shrinks, right? Who watch that, they don't like that idea. I mean, come on, I mean, they will lose all the audience over there, right? But if we talk seriously, of course, I mean, and every person, I'm sure, every person who watching us now, I mean, before the gym and after the gym, you go to the gym, you're under the stress. I mean, of course, there's like a family, there's business, I mean, education, well, so many things you have to deal with, right? It doesn't matter what is your age or whatever, but when you start to train, it's very easy because blood basically coming from your head to your muscles, and you start to feel better, and of course you start to feel more optimistical, more happy, and that's what now they saying basically like in a science. But I mean, you and me, we always knew that that your life really can change when you go to the gym. You know, again, I'm sorry to all the shrinks right now.
Yeah, and they're finding in particular it can really help depression, and they're looking into now whether or not it can actually help bipolar disorder as well. So I just love the way it's going, and they're trying to actually institute some structural changes. You know, maybe when you have a psychotherapy unit, you have some sort of physical, I don't know, device or thing or area where they can be worked out or can do some training.
I don't know. I think it's one of those things like you remember like back in the day there was no peanut allergy and now everybody has a peanut allergy. It feels like sometimes I'm not saying that there's no mental illness or anything like that. There's definitely is, but just sometimes some people might use that as something else versus you have a problem and you get over it. You know what I'm saying? So again, mental health does exist, but it's just like it feels like sometimes we're kind of creating these avenues for people to not live.
You're skeptical.
Well, I am, because there's generations before us that have succeeded and did well, and they didn't have these issues that we know of, obviously. So some of the stuff is just like why do we have now 10 kids in this classroom that have peanut allergies? Like, why do we have all these symptoms that in a society that's supposed to be advanced, we're now kind of dealing with these? So I kind of question it sometimes.
I completely agree, but also what I want to say is just, I mean, if someone even doesn't have money for the professional trainer, or even for membership gym or whatever in a gym, I mean, he can go out and walk for 30 minutes. It's also fitness, do some boxing, I mean, with a mirror, like for 15 minutes, just jump, I mean, just walk, run. Do whatever you can do. It's just because physical culture will heal you. That's no questions about that.
And I think I feel like we don't have that mentality in the States. Like we do because we're in the fitness, but I feel like people across the country, so in some like random state where they go in for like a depression treatment, no one says to them, "Oh, are you also working out? That can maybe help." Like they just don't get
There's
that
so
message.
much free stuff. The Nike app, you can create a workout on it for free, and you can plug in whatever your thing is. I want to work out 1 to 2 days a week. I want to work out 20 minutes, and they will create a whole program with you. And not even like a list. They have the screen working out with you for free.
Do you employ any of that? Like any of this sort of like mobile apps or any of the sort of new technology?
Not me, but let me tell you, I'm getting jealous because when my girlfriend Maria, like every morning, she just do something on her phone, and it's just someone else with like, I think it's like a male voice saying like, "Hey, 10 sets now," and there's like some cartoon guy training with her. I said, "Maria, let's do it together. I mean, let's go." So, come on. So I don't use it, but she does.
I mean, it's there. Why not? We're such a great society at this point, this era now. It's just like and it's free.
And easy to do. You just have to put your mind into it, you know. And
we're living in a great era of access, and of course, along with that comes muscle building. So they're finding about calves that calves will have different indications depending on the size. And I know for guys, at least for me, that
There's
was one
problems.
of the, right. That was one of my main concerns. I want my calves to always look good. Apparently, they say the founding fathers were obsessed with this too because they had those skinny, tight trousers.
Yeah.
But they're saying that big calves are actually a sign that you have a lower stroke risk. And the part of the reason they're positing is because larger calves actually have more room for fat to deposit. So that fat that typically clogs arteries actually will go to your calf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because even though the calves look like all muscle, there's some fat there as well. And they're finding that people with smaller calves are actually suffering from higher, on average, have a higher beats per minute, which is over 100 beats per minute, have a higher heart rate, which puts them at a greater risk for sudden death due to cardiac arrest.
Jeez.
So they do say there's a warning with the bigger calf that you might could lead to fatty liver disease if you're just storing all your fat there. But in general, it looks like it's probably better to have bigger calves than not. I know it's a stubborn thing. I'm sure you've probably got a billion questions over your bodybuilding career. But what have you done to kind of build calves? Do you have a calf secret?
I think you just use the story to ask for advice.
You know, it's I was lucky because it was very hard for me to build big legs. But my forearms and my calves, naturally, it was easy for me to build them.
Yeah.
And if I understand correctly now, it's even great that did they say something about forearms or only calves?
No, only calves today.
Only calves.
Next week.
But you should just train them, and for regular people, they also can. I'm sure you saw so many regular people with huge calves because maybe they're doing bicycle or walk a lot or whatever.
Genetics.
Exactly, football or genetics. So just again, just simple exercises. Simple exercises with dumbbells. We walk more, run more. And just do that, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Whoa, wait a minute. I think we have a before-after picture. We'll have to pull up your before-after
Let's just check
picture.
it out.
Because you're making this sound real simple. So
That's my before and after
went from
picture.
that to- so, what were you how long were you training? You don't just walk
it's
more,
funny.
or the calves more.
It's funny
Wait,
because
give us your age. What age were you before?
over there I'm
Yeah.
15, and over there I'm 25.
But you're the
And
same-
my
and you're the same
biggest-
height.
It's the same height.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
it's the same height. And it was funny because again, when I was a kid, it was Soviet Union, right? It wasn't even modern Russia yet, and. We couldn't even name bodybuilding a bodybuilding. It was illegal because Arnold and Stallone, they killed so many people, Russian people in the movies in 80s, right? That was a reason in Rambo, Commando, whatever. It was a reason for Soviet government to ban sport completely.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you're there? They want to compete. No, we name it athletic gymnastics. That's how we called it. And thanks to Perestroika, like in 1993, when country changed, it's all changed, and suddenly, first photo was taken in 1986, right? Second photo was taken 10 years ago. And when Russian TV decided to produce a first ever documentary about bodybuilding, because it was underground before, they chose me because I was already at the university. I had that story about that transformation. At the time, I was already the biggest bodybuilder in Russia. I was getting ready for my first Miss Universe. Yeah, so they put me on TV. 50 million people watch it. Not because they all wanted to watch, but because we had 3 TV channels at the time. But next day, I woke up and it was completely different.
Wow.
But I was smart because I used that not just to show people hey, look at me, look what I'm doing, whatever. No. I use it always for inspiring people, like Arnold did here. And I use that photos and I show it to people. I published my first book in 1996. That's my 10th one, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's my book number 10.
Wow.
And it will be first one in the States, hopefully next April. It's called Bodybuilding and Other Secrets of Success. And we'll talk about that too.
Yeah,
because a lot of
absolutely.
bodybuilders, they think that if they have big muscles, it's enough for success.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately not.
No.
Unfortunately not. We'll talk about that too. But again, I was smart and I was lucky, right? And I started to do my own TV show in 90s. After that, I started to do movies and everything. And, it's dream come true.
Yeah.
And I made it because of bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding. Correct bodybuilding, and that's exactly what I still continue to promote in all my movies. And look at Arnold. Arnold is 71.
Yeah.
He's doing Terminator right now, making millions of dollars in another great movie. Sylvester Stallone, 72,
Oh my
making
gosh.
Rambo 5 right now, making $1 million. Training muscles.
And Creed 2 coming out too.
Yeah.
Isn't that one?
Exactly. So that should be the target. That should be an example, of a healthy lifestyle, bodybuilding. I mean, real bodybuilding.
And you have the secret to longevity, which kind of reminds me of the next story, which is about working out in spurts. So apparently, if you work out in spurts, it's not really great for you. But if you're 40 and over, it's really bad for you in terms of getting back to where you were before. And they did two studies, one that kind of examined people 40 and over, and another that examined people 60 and over. Obviously, the results were even worse for 60 and over. But they found just taking off 2.5 weeks off the gym, when people are working out, when people went back to working out, so all the markers went bad when they didn't work out. The cholesterol levels, the stroke risk, the diabetes risk. But when people went back to working out, researchers expected those levels to go right back. And they didn't for some people. And they found that it's more difficult to get those levels back when you take off a few weeks at an older age versus when you do it in your 20s and 30s. So your secret to longevity, have you never taken off any time? Because you look amazing. When you do take off time, are you still actively working out?
First of all, as I told you before the show, I mean, it looks like for you both, because you, before 40, for you it's kind of less dangerous. For me, of course, it's more dangerous. But if I talk seriously, since the beginning, when I started bodybuilding, I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop it, because I never really abused my body.
Yeah.
Even when I was huge and was doing like 3 hours a day with like big huge weights, it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was just a part of the puzzle, as I said before. I knew why I'm doing it,
Yeah.
Now I'm doing like 1 hour weights and like 30 minutes of cardio or boxing, and it's still huge fun. It's still best part of my day. So I don't wanna stop,
Yeah.
And actually I never did.
Yeah.
Different story is that for some movies, it's, for example, like now I'm getting ready for my next film, and there will be more martial arts in that film. So I'm trying to slim down, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of like about 260, right? In Maximum Impact, I was kind of bigger in a movie before that movie, which I gave you, Black Rose, which is now on Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, I was big. I was kind of like 290. It was different routine and different whatever, but still, bodybuilding and workout, I mean, it's the best part of my day. And I think that's what also we should all cultivate.
Yeah.
Because I never competed at IFBB.
Yeah.
I competed in Europe and World Fitness Federation, World Bodybuilding Federation. And I love them a lot because they really respect older sportsmen. They have like masters division, a lot of masters divisions, and so people continue really to compete like when they're the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Competitive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And be amongst their peers.
Exactly.
You won Mr. Universe. You get to that stage. What was that process like? Preparing for it, and then winning. How was that like to win and to be on stage and get that accolade?
I mean, it's unbelievable because again, for a skinny kid from Moscow, it was all dream come true. But of course, like before that, it was long way, and I got the personal invitation from Vice President of NABBA. NABBA is an organization which organized like first Miss Universes, which Arnold Schwarzenegger won, many years ago in London. So NABBA split it up to two organizations, NABBA and WFF. I got personal invitation and I went over there. And of course, I can say it now, of course I was nervous and everything. I'm writing about that in a book, but for me to be on that stage, and between us, I always should say like, yeah, I knew I will win, whatever. Of course you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. And the guy who was next to me, great African-American bodybuilder, huge. I thought he's huge. When I was close to him. When my friend took a picture, like in between, showed it to me. Of course, when I saw us together, he wasn't because I was taller. But that's how you see it, the guy, right? So there's a lot of stories like that, and I write about that. But again, I was lucky because yes, it was dream come true, But I knew very well it's just a part of the puzzle. I knew that no one basically owed me anything, right?
Yeah.
And I should use it for the next step.
Yeah.
And that's what we also spoke about before we started the show, because I think there's a lot of problems in bodybuilding right now, especially in American bodybuilding, and so many talented athletes. Great bodies, bigger, smaller, whatever. It's just they don't know how to use it. Yeah. They don't know how to get into the movies. They don't know how to get to TV. They don't know, They all know how to train.
Yeah.
But they don't know anything else. And that was amazing for me, because when I came here first time from Russia, like 15 years ago, I mean, I looked at them, at all that IFBB champions at the Gold Gym in Venice, and I was amazed. I mean, I knew them because of the covers or the magazines, whatever. But I mean, they didn't do anything. They just trained.
Yep.
I mean, they ate, of course, but also after that they went to the ocean and had some tan. I was amazed. I mean, and they were all waiting for someone
to come and find
them. Exactly. And I mean, Arnold showed all of them what to do.
Yeah.
You know,
You
to
gave
get
them
an
the blueprint.
education, get an education, get a press agent, start to do some charity, get into the movies. I mean, do something.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, that's what we should push more, and that's exactly what you do, and you're doing great fitness shows. So a lot of people can be inspired by you, and not just sit in the gym or in their home trying to do something themselves, shows or whatever. Now it's much easier to do
with
You
Instagram and YouTube.
Exactly, it's a different age.
It's an unforgiving life, because I realized that myself. I was telling you, when I first got here 3 months, my first 3 months in LA, I met some of the biggest guys I had known from covers before, and they were like, they had roommates, and they were making the money I thought you would be making if you were on a cover every month.
Yeah.
And so that was my big wake-up call. And the thing is, the industry is unforgiving, because you're in your some teens or in your early 20s, and you're spending every dime you have to train, to get to the show, to pay entry fee to the show, thinking that if you just keep paying and working hard, you're going to get some payoff, but not knowing how to get to that payoff. But you reveal some of this in your book.
Yes, yes, I did. And again, of course, my book is based on my experience in Russia and in Europe. First part of the book is my autobiography, but it's also about my first movies, how I got into the movies. And second half of the book is about natural bodybuilding. How can you build yourself, even if you don't think about being on stage or being like Miss Universe or whatever, or being in movies, if you just want to get a little bit more muscles, a little bit more self respect and everything, because everyone can do it. And it doesn't matter if it's a man or woman or age or whatever. That's what my book is about, and that's what I'm trying to do. You know, because in Russia all the time, my films, the big theatrical releases over there, I'm doing like a lot of publicity, but I'm not really publicize my movies much. I publicize the idea that if you want to change your life, as you saw on my photo, I mean, you can. You can, because in Soviet Union, officially, we didn't have poor or rich people, whatever, but in reality, of course, we did. And my mom, you know, we never had any money because my father never supported her. So she was working like for 15 hours every day at the factory to support me and my sister. But she was always optimistical, and she was laughing. I mean, at least with us, like that. And she always told me and to my sister that it doesn't matter how much money do you have. It's all here. You have to get an education. You have to dream big, you know, and that's how she basically builded me, you know. And when people ask me about my idols, of course, my idols are Arnold Schwarzenegger and bodybuilding, no questions about that. But my biggest idol is my mom, you know, because she fought really hard. Exactly. And I think for all the audience, it doesn't matter if you're in Russia or in America or in France or in England. I mean, for regular people, it's still that choice. You either push for your dream yourself, or just sit, wait, and lose all the opportunities. I mean, it's like that, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, like the main word, no matter if you're a bodybuilder, basketball player, actor, or just whatever, it's consistency. Remaining consistent over the period of time. And also with the bodybuilders, or even people who are actors, networking. Because you can network with just bodybuilders, but everybody's doing the same thing that you're doing, then you're never going to go anywhere. But you see somebody else doing something who's an actor, like, you know, it's especially in this day and age, especially with stuff like Instagram, you can reach out. You should have 3, 4, 5 different network bubbles where, like, you know, actors, you know, bodybuilders, you know, these, like, it's just easier that way. Whereas, you know, you just instead of just, you know, hanging out with people that look like you, that you know, do the same thing.
You're absolutely right. It's like Arnold said and wrote in one of his books. He said, like, please don't forget that real life is outside of the gym. Not inside of the gym, outside of the gym. You know?
You can afford to go to the bar and not have beer if you don't want to. Like, but you still hang out with people and develop relationships so that something happens, they're going to think of you and call you for whatever that is, right? So. And
I love that you're promoting natural bodybuilding, because I get it from these people all the time that I think they're afraid to change their body, so they use an excuse to go, oh, people are using steroids, or oh, I don't have enough money, or you know, you're from another country and you've been able to achieve success, this great physique, and also translate to real success. So you're just a great example of what can be done and not to use excuses.
Thank you very much for that. But as you said before, people before us, they also demonstrated great physiques. Maybe they didn't have like huge calves and arms, but they all that paintings, all that sculptures. I mean, we always had people who did some sport, and looked great. So you don't need drugs for that.
Yeah.
And if you think you need drugs for some competitions, also I think people should think twice, because like 40 years ago when drugs were discovered and bodybuilders started to try them, as we spoke before a show with you, I mean, first of all, they used a little bit.
Yeah.
Second of all, they didn't really know that you can die out of it. They didn't know.
Yeah.
It's like when people smoke,
they
right?
thought it was
They
a good
didn't know.
thing.
They thought it's, now everyone understands.
Yeah.
And now everyone understands the same thing about drugs. I mean, you can die.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's so many, last year, right? That's the death after death.
People are dropping dead. Yeah, that's crazy.
Professional bodybuilders, like Instagram bodybuilding stars. I mean, that's no jokes about that.
Yeah.
And so they should think twice. It's their life, right? But natural bodybuilding, again, is a great way to get attention, to get muscles, to get to that shows, to get into the show business, to look great, I mean, you still can do that.
Yeah.
And when you mention like big guys and everything, it's great to be big.
Yeah.
I know that, I know that myself. But I mean, it's just you have to be realistical, and it's just, and you cannot depend on that. Because I feel great when my weight is 260.
Yeah.
I was great when it was 330 on that photo.
Yeah.
I felt great because it's not about my weight.
Yeah.
And probably it's because I was doing boxing before. Before I started bodybuilding, I was doing boxing. And boxing is a great sport which basically builds you inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
Cardiovascular is crazy.
Exactly, which is much more important. Everyone can gain muscles,
Yeah.
but it's about that thing inside, inner strength, which you have to have,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe because you were an athlete before, you really valued your body and the movement of the
Yeah.
body.
Of
you
course.
know?
Yeah, if
And
you
it should
can't
be
run,
fun.
Yeah, if you have all that mass and you can't run and you can't walk up the stairs,
It's like,
that's
what's
an
the
issue.
point?
That's another thing, and we discuss it with Shaka. I mean, when the professional bodybuilders, when they get that,
Yeah,
just when they talk,
Yeah.
Your
I mean,
heart's
it's
not. Your heart's saying something. to you.
unfortunately, it's just,
And then, but we got to get into this movie. So we have a trailer. We're going to pull up the trailer. Maximum impact. When you're big and can kick butt too.
Exactly.
Here we go.
You received a terrorist threat.
Terrorists? From where?
From everywhere.
Oh boy. Oh. Sorry.
And this is about the Moscow and U.S.
Mr.
agents
Secretary,
working
is there
together.
any
Yes,
hope for
preventing a
breakthrough
big
in the
crisis.
I have very little confidence in a resolution.
Oh, Eric Roberts, Tom Arnold. I love that.
Yeah.
Secretary of State's granddaughter is here.
You're in Moscow.
That's Mark Dacascos.
Hey, let me go! Let me go!
You guys enjoy your life.
That's Matthias Hughes right there.
Hour you have left of it. This should get her grandfather's attention.
Oh my.
One of these guys.
If someone wanted to trash Russia's economy, a great way to do it is instigate a crisis.
And you guys started writing this. When did you start writing this?
I created the story,
Yeah.
and it was written by Ruslan Mann, who created Rush Hour. He wrote Rush Hour
Oh,
franchise. Yeah, so we started it like about 3 years ago.
Okay, wow. So before our current U.S.-Russia relations.
Before, exactly, before. That's Danny Trejo over there.
Oh my gosh. He has the softest hands, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I interviewed him. I was like, oh my gosh, your hands are so soft. Just random fact.
Random fact on Fit Club.
And I'm glad you complimented fights because the guy, our fight choreographer, he got an Emmy for Luke Cage.
Oh,
for
nice.
Netflix Luke Cage.
Wow.
He just got it. And as I said, director made Romeo Must Die and Jet Li.
Okay.
And I was a super big fan of the fight scenes of Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Season 2 was crazy. Kelly Hu, Tom
Awesome.
Arnold.
Tom Arnold,
I
Eric
love
Roberts.
this. Of course, Tom Arnold's got that new. He's got a new series coming out to
New
expose
series,
Trump.
yes.
So you've got
He's
all
hunting
the,
for the tapes
Yeah, he's hunting
right
for
now.
The, you,
At the time, it was different.
yeah, I was gonna say you were really prescient about this. You guys had some.
Good names.
And it's Billy Baldwin, great actor, and Danny.
So, but I love this.
Awesome.
This is about
Thank you.
Russians and U.S. working together. So this is actually timely, even though it wasn't meant to be timely.
Anti-timely, let me put it that way, because I mean, we already released film in Russia, and we already released it pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
And yesterday it was released in the States and limited theaters, and how they release it, like on DVD and Blu-ray and VOD and iTunes and everything. So only lazy person didn't ask me, like, Alexander, why did you decide to make a movie about friendship now? It's not a good time. Like, check every channel. I mean, it's not about friendship, it's about hate now.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think, and I hope you will agree with me, with all due respect, of course it's entertainment and we're artists and whatever, but we don't need another Cold War.
No, of course
We
not.
don't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
another ocean of hate.
Yeah.
We already had it before.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need that. And everyone who goes, I mean, we shot 90% of the film in Russia.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the American actors over there, and director and everyone, I mean, they love Russian people, and Russian people love them. Because actually, America and Russia, they're very similar. People are very similar. And that's why we fought together in World War II. And that's how we won
Yeah.
together. So what's going on now? I don't like it at all. And I think, seriously, I think that movie like Maximum Impact, whereas Russians and Americans, I mean, they're working together, not killing each other or fighting. I mean, they're working together. It is timely,
Well,
I think.
yeah, and I think it's important because I think what I haven't seen too much of, which I've been happy to see, is that there hasn't been too much trickle down. Like, it's sort of like we're like not friends with Russia right now, but I haven't seen like people not like Russian people. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
exactly what I was gonna say. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily the. I think some people put it on the group or the country, but it's not the whole country.
But yeah, and
Right,
but I feel like during the Cold War, I feel like people were suspicious of like people that were Russian
Yeah.
here. But we don't have that. And I think movies like this kind of are a testament to that,
Yeah.
to keeping that cultural tie positive.
And I'll explain to you why. Because, for example, between Moscow and LA, it's 12 hours flight, right?
Yeah.
So I was on a flight like a couple of months ago, and I watched 3 movies in a row, 3 Hollywood movies. So first one was Equalizer with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington was killing bad Russians, right? Second film was November Man with Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan was killing bad Russians.
Yeah.
Third film was
wow.
Taken 3 with Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson was killing bad Russians.
Yeah.
And my favorite TV show, Ray Donovan, on Showtime. Even now, I mean, on last season, Ray Donovan was killing bad Russians.
Jeez.
So you're right. I mean, regular people, they understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you have movies like that, one after another, of course, it's also an image. It's like they
The
portrayed.
stereotype.
It's like they portrayed African Americans before as bad guys in movies. I mean, they didn't mean any harm, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But they did.
But they did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going on right now with Russians. And I think films like that about friendship, they timely, as I said.
And I love it because you've turned down roles because you didn't want to play the bad Russian.
You mentioned Terry Crews, right? So I knew him a little because I was offered Battle Dome 15 years ago. That was his first breakthrough project. You know, Battle Dome. It was kind of like American Gladiators TV show, right? So I was offered it, and when I wrote it, I mean when I read it, right? It was like stereotypical Russian, like with some red star on his shorts or whatever, saying some bad words, cursing, and I had to have like a beard because my face basically proved my high education because I graduated from Moscow State University of Management. So yes, I said no, and they were amazed because I mean for bodybuilders, it's a
we want
huge thing.
anything,
I mean,
yeah.
of course, to get some part, whatever. And another heartbreaking thing was when Jean-Claude Van Damme, one of my childhood idols, also he offered me a part in his film, The Order, with late Charlton Heston. I couldn't do it because, he wanted to help me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it because I couldn't go back to my audience with films like that.
Yeah.
With stereotypical stuff like that. You know, if it's they ask you to play in a film and you'll be happy, and after that you're playing like stereotypical African-American guy who's killing each other, and there's all stereotypes at once, you know. So I mean,
You're like, no,
it
I
doesn't matter
can't
if
do
you
it.
want to do it. I mean, of course you do, but it's just So
You gotta
yes,
sleep well at night.
and I think it's important just to remember, you know, like a bigger picture. It's important if you're bodybuilder, it's important if you're artist, bigger picture.
Yeah.
What you really want to do with your life, with your muscles, with your career, or with your films, you know, and that's my opinion.
Well, I like that take. And before we go, we've got a few more minutes left, but we've got to do our Fit Club 5. So it's going to be 5 rapid-fire questions. You just say the answer, and the audience will hopefully get to know you, and you'll provide some laughs, maybe.
Exactly, especially with my English language. I mean, it's just, I'll try to understand.
We need to get some music for this next time.
All
All right,
right.
so here we go. Last person you text.
Last person I text, My publicist Judy.
There you go. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy. Thank you very much. Actually, it was her who got me here.
Oh, nice. Dream dinner guest.
My girlfriend Maria. Hopefully, she'll join me soon.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
You got a soft side.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Favorite junk food.
Huge hamburger. Huge hamburger. I want to eat it in October. In October, at least once. I'm sorry. I will eat huge hamburger. Exactly.
At
Huge
the end
one.
of October.
Yeah, hopefully by end of October. Yeah.
That's good. I'm going to remember from this interview.
Yeah. If you were only able to watch one movie for the rest of your life, what movie would it be?
Just one movie.
One movie.
Just one movie. You know what? I will watch again and again film Conan the Destroyer. The film which inspired me to start bodybuilding with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Exactly.
Hey, he could have said Maximum Impact. Okay, nice.
Let's see.
Yeah.
And Maximum Impact.
Was that all 5?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, just got to thank you for joining us. This was amazing. I think there are a lot of people out there that are going to really benefit from this book and from this interview.
Thank you very much. And thank you both for promoting fitness and healthy lifestyle. I mean, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thank you, guys.
Again, guys, my name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad.
And where can they find you?
At Real Alex Nevsky.
Awesome. We'll see you guys next week.
Ciao.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood
Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.